Are you a new rider? Are you a existing rider that has never really dipped their toe into taking any kind of long-distance trips? Either way, stick around, because in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to build up from where you are, being able to go out and confidently knock out 600 and 700 mile days repeatedly back to back, if that's what you choose to do. What's up? Jim here. Welcome back to J Street Moto. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. Thanks for stopping in and watching. Doesn't really matter what you ride. Bikers tend to, when they congregate, they tend to talk about different things. And what I've noticed over my time, the topic of some of the long distance trips I take come up. It always does. People like to hear stories from the road, etc. What I get is a statement being made from a lot of the people around the table going, "Jesus, dude, I can never do that. I couldn't go out, throw my leg over the motorcycle and do 600 or 700 miles a day, every day for like 10 days in a row. My body couldn't take it. I couldn't do it." And you know, and I get that. Believe me, I get that because it's a true statement. You're not going to be able to just get on a motorcycle and go do that. It's kind of like the equivalent of someone saying, "Well, you know, is it possible for me to just get off my couch and go run a marathon?" Sure, it is. You can do that. You can absolutely, no matter what kind of shape you're in, you can get off your couch and go run a marathon. It's not going to be enjoyable. That I can tell you. You're going to hate every second of it. And that's because, well, you haven't prepared. So I talk to you a lot about preparing for long-distance motorcycle trips. But so far, the focus has all been on what do you need to do to the bike, what kind of stuff you need to think about packing, where are you going to put it on your bike, what kind of gear do you need, you know, all of that stuff. I never really talked to you about how you prepare yourself for a long-distance motorcycle trip. The first thing you have to do when you are preparing yourself to take a long-distance trip for the first time, you got to learn what your own limits are. And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you how we do it, because, you know, there's different ways to do stuff, right? And so there's no reason for me to tell you my way is the only way to do it. In fact, if you ride long distance and you started out being just a recreational rider and hanging out, you know, just local, and then all of a sudden decided you're going to ramp up your riding and go, you know, to different destinations, drop me a comment. Tell me how you did it, or if you think what I'm saying here makes sense and is reasonable and logical. Know your limits. Know your limitations. That's the first key. And the easiest way to figure this out is by riding. There's no other way you can do this. Take a day. Go out and tell yourself, all right, I'm going to ride in the kind of conditions that I'm going to be in. If the first trip you're going to take, you're going to spend mostly on the interstate, then go out and ride on the interstate. If the first trip you're going to take, you've committed to taking what I'll call state highways and U.S. highways, but not the interstates. So more two-lane kind of roads, or back roads, if you will, then go out and ride on those. But you want to put yourself in the circumstances under which you're going to be doing the majority of your trip to really know what your limit is. Because I have a different limit on back roads than I do on interstate. You need to know both of those limits so that you know when you go out that day to ride, all right, which one are we going to be on, because that's my limitation. You talk with each other and you understand what everyone's limits are. That way whoever's in front knows when to stop if his limit is longer than yours. Because when you're on a road trip, you will, at one point in that road trip, be pushed by the other people you're riding with to exceed your own limit. And that's okay to do from time to time. Know your limit. Now, here's what I will tell you about limits. You got to be willing to adjust it. Because remember what I started this with. Know your limit in ideal riding conditions. Guys, I've done a few road trips, and I can tell you right now, ideal riding conditions happen very rarely. Now, I'm not saying you don't have good conditions to ride in, but usually it's hotter than what you're used to or colder than what you're used to. And that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you're dealing with some pretty shitty weather, meaning, thunderstorms, hail, possibly snow or ice forming, extremely cold temperatures, high wind. All of those things are going to influence and affect your ability and what your limit actually is, or what your limit should be while you're riding in those circumstances. Key is, go out and ride. You're going to go ride, like let's say you're taking 2 lanes. You're going to go out and ride back roads. And I want you to ride those back roads as long as you can ride them at one shot. Stay on the bike until you really start to feel uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is maybe your back starts to hurt, your butt starts to hurt. For me, one of the things that bothers me most when I'm on a long distance trip is this little muscle right here. We carry a lacrosse ball with us so we can roll that thing on our backs against a wall and work out any knots, because all of us tend to get it in the same spot. Now, I will say my handlebars have corrected a lot of that or helped with it a lot, but I still get it from time to time. Pay attention to what hurts on you, because some things hurt, and if you get off the bike for 5 minutes, you get back on and it's like you just got on it for the first time that day. Other things that hurt, they don't work like that. You can be off the bike for 2-3 hours, get back on, and as soon as your ass hits the seat and you take off running, all the pain is instantly back. So you got to understand kind of what it is that hurts on you and which one of those things requires the most recovery time. Once you know what your starting limit is, it takes some time to work up to being able to do 2.5 hours at a time. So we're going to talk about next. Make a plan. Go out. You don't have to go out daily, but once a week, pick that day as, hey, today's the day I'm working on my long-distance riding limit. Take the time to go out and ride. And when you go ride, the next time you go out, if you made it an hour the first time before stuff really started to hurt, and you got off the bike and were like, okay, after 10, 15 minutes, I was able to get back on and ride another hour. Perfect. This time when you go out, I want you to shoot for an hour and a half. Grow it a little bit. Extend it a little bit. Follow me? So the next time you go out, you're trying to do an hour and a half. And then staying off the bike for 10, 15 minutes, and then you're doing an hour and a half again. And you just keep doing that until you build up to it. It's that simple. It's not complicated, guys. And you start to feel more comfortable on the bike. So that's the key. You got to feel comfortable without feeling complacent. And this is what I did. I did this when in fact, to this day, when we are getting ready for, a couple months before we go on our big trip, we will start to ramp up how much we ride. We will ride a lot more frequently. We will ride further. That's the key. We will start getting our bodies used to going out and spending all day on a motorcycle, exposed to the elements, exposed to everything you got to do. We're going to do that, and we'll do it a few times before we take off for that trip. Hell, the year we went to, I think it was the year we went to Sturgis. We did our iron butt. We did 1,000 miles in 24 hours in preparation for that trip. The other thing those longer rides do, and this is a sidetrack, I might cut it out of the video. The other thing those longer rides do as you're prepping for this, as you're prepping for your big trip, is it gives you a chance to really test your motorcycle out when you are riding it at consistent speed for longer periods of time. It will let you shake your bike down, basically. So, yeah, if you want to get out there, you want to start riding further, the only way to do that is to ride further. Like I said, you can get right off the couch and go run a marathon. You're going to take days to recover from it. You are probably going to have to walk 90% of it because you're just not used to it. It's the same thing with a motorcycle. You got to acclimate your body to what it's doing, like anything else. But yeah, long distance motorcycling is sort of an endurance sport, and you have to approach it the right way. You got to have your mind right. You got to have your body prepared. What up? Hopefully I've given you a way to think about this so that if you do not currently go out and take any long distance trips, you might say to yourself, you know what, I can do it, and this is what I'm going to do. So, appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all your time. Keep the comments coming. Keep the likes. In fact, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and always, ride safe.
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really? Peace out, bitches!